Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Marko Babac. Marko, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mario. How's everything in UK? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I have a little bit of a cold, but apart from that, everything is okay. So for the new viewers or for those who didn't catch Marko the first time, I interviewed him on February 27th this year, and we spoke about his farm in Arkansas and what he's doing there. And then yeah, we had some interesting reaction to that interview. We spoke about your experience in the ex-Yugoslavia with hyperinflation and what you think is happening. So you contacted me the other day through Twitter, and I recommend the viewers, if they're interested, to go on to Marko's Twitter account and follow him. He's quite active there. So yeah, Marko, what's new in Independence Ark farm in Arkansas?
Right. Well, first of all, I thank you for inviting me back to your show. I know you're a busy guy. I watch your channel a lot. I know you post every day, sometimes even 2 videos. And I want to first show the viewers before you get asked questions, the shirt. I just got it from you, from Monaco. Let me see if I can turn around here. If people can see, it says Monaco, contrarian views on politics, Monaco 64. I will be wearing this shirt, by the way. I'm playing in the World Series of Poker every year throughout the country, especially in Las Vegas. And I always wear a hoodie when I play because it's really cold inside the casinos. So I'm just letting you know that this shirt will be seen all over Las Vegas.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it says socialism is throttling the country. There you go. It's an old political poster from the UK. I think around early 1900s, and it still applies today, not just to the UK but to the US as well, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I'll rub a lot of people wrong at the table, but I'm kind of known to do that anyways. So this will just kind of be it will fit perfectly, put it that way, because I don't mind getting in all arguments or hearing other views as well. So yeah, I'm just wanted to show the shirt. Thanks for sending it. I appreciate it. And what's going on here is we're building a tennis court. I have a tennis business as well, and I have my own court that's been ongoing. But when it comes to beef and all that, what we talked about back in February was very interesting. I think you titled one of the videos, I guess after all, you can eat gold. And the reason is I've had people that contacted me. One of the gentlemen from Oklahoma decided to drive all the way out here. For those that haven't gotten a chance to listen to the video, from Oklahoma to Arkansas, it's not a terrible drive, but it is six hours. And he's an older gentleman, came in with a wife as well. And we had lunch here. We never met each other. And we made a deal with a Krugerrand for 200 pounds of beef. And that's why I really like the title that you came up with. After all, you can eat gold, because that's basically what happened. As we're usually selling about $10 per pound on an average, that's including your steaks and everything. So 200 pounds, 2,000. It kind of made sense for him as an older gentleman, probably has some coins stacked up, and he's like, hey, I'm going to get some beef. So again, I'm not saying this transaction would make sense for someone who is 25 or 30 years old that doesn't have much gold. But for him, I think it made perfect sense. And I had other people, Jennifer from Oregon, that decided to contact us. And then her husband wanted to drive all the way out here because he likes to drive. But something came up and they decided, you know what, just ship it. We'll do it next time. And then we had another one, Dennis from Alabama, that decided to do it. And then at the same time, something happened and it ended up being like 100-pound order. And he says, you know what, let's see how it goes. But all these stocks came from your channel and people willing to barter, basically, when it comes to gold. And in reminding me back in Europe, That's what was going on during the Civil War, hyperinflation, as people just find ways to get things done. So I'll just kind of wanted to give you a quick preview on that. It's still probably after this video, I'll have some other people contacting me. Hey, maybe I'll have a ½ ounce gold. You want to do it? And I stand by my word. I said it immediately. When they asked, I said, no problem. Gold for beef, beef for gold, I'm in. I'd rather have that than cash.
Yeah, I agree, and I think at the time gold was around 1850, 1825. So it's actually gone up quite a bit. And I've also seen that live cattle futures have gone to record highs. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we go to live auctions here. I actually have it close by where I live, which kind of got lucky. When I got the property, I didn't know it was that close. It's basically 10 minutes from the house. And I ended up going right to the auction, and I start talking to all these ranchers. These are the real people, you know. They're in the middle of things in the food industry. These are the people I suggest a lot of people get to know. Get out of your cities and suburbs a little bit. Get to know your local ranchers, because they'll get you connected with whoever and whatever you need. It's basically kind of like just interacting with them. And they're telling me, like right now, for instance, when you look at the screen, it's kind of like trading stocks the same way in so many ways. And then you're looking at, okay, well, now we're looking 250, 220 per pound when it comes to, heifers, steer, which is smaller, like basically baby cows, for those that are not familiar. And I remember when I got the property, which is not even 2 years ago, it was about $1.50. $1.20 per pound when it comes to actual livestock. And this has been a trend, and I believe it hasn't showed up at the stores yet. It's always lag effects, just like when it comes down to, let's say, rate hikes, what the Federal Reserve is doing. It takes about a year for this to take it to the main street. And I think that's what we're going to see. I could be wrong on this, but I doubt it. I believe you're going to see continuation rise in prices of food, especially beef.
Yeah.
As for those, maybe they're not familiar, beef used to be money. It was like the first form of money back in the day. I forget what year, but beef used to be money.
Yeah, so, I think the word pecuniary, pecunia, it comes from cow in Latin or something. And yeah, people used to use it as money. And this is the chart of live cattle, the live cattle futures on the CME. So this is like an all-time high here, which is we've seen a pullback a little bit, but it got to 180 cents, $1.80 per pound. Does that make sense?
That's exactly what I was saying. And if you can see on your chart here, where it's a big drop at 2020, year 2020, as you can tell, that's the COVID effect, the infamous health events. And from that point on, that's when I bought the property, was during COVID in 2020. I lived in Florida. I decided to make a move out because I figured they're going to use this to never end pandemic. And I decided to pull the trigger on the property that right now is up in value about 50%, as I was trying to let people know they might want to look into some land. And these properties are going up. Like I said, right now, mine, when I'm looking at, that's not even including all the upgrades we did in the house and around the house, the property. That's just what's showing. It's about 40 to 50% for land for people to know right now. And obviously the interest rates are way higher. We're looking at 6.5%, 7% versus 3 2 years ago. So cattle is up. I believe, unfortunately, is going to show up at the stores. I don't see inflation coming down in the things you need. And I'm going to repeat that. We're going to continue seeing inflation in the things we need, like basically essentials, and coming up deflation of the things people own. And I don't think ranch properties will deflate much because of land. I believe these cookie cutter homes and suburbs that are sitting on basically no room to even put your barbecue on, I believe those, again, I could be wrong on this, but so far everything has been trending to me that way. And it was actually, if you're familiar with Bill Holter, about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I listened to one of his videos. He doesn't have a regular blog, but he's the one that said, you're going to see something that we haven't seen before. You're going to see deflation of the things you own, which is real estate, stocks, right, bonds. And that would be the deflation, but inflation of the things you need, such as food, energy. And that's exactly what's going on. And I listened to a lot of people, and he really broke it down to me, kind of like when I looked at macro, I said, that's what these freaks, these suits in office are actually doing deliberately, is how to destroy the middle class, is by all the games that they play with currency printing to infinity and beyond, and all the little tools they have in their toolbox, which we know mostly it's just print more to devalue your purchasing power, the currency. That's what that obviously means. And that's what we've been seeing happening. So I'll leave it up for questions to you right now on that.
Yeah, I've heard Bill Holter. He used to be collaborate with Jim Sinclair on jsmindset.com, and that's what they said. Yeah, the next crisis, everything that you need to survive is going to go up in value. And they're talking about now that inflation for food or prices is going to come back down a bit, but it's not going to go negative. So the prices you paid 5, 10, 15 years ago, you'll never be able to pay it again. And I think they're going to tinker with the CPI as much as possible to make it look like it's not really inflating. But more and more people are going to have a tough time with heating, food, fuel, everything, and luxury things are going to go down in value. I think I see that even like pets, puppies, they went through the roof during lockdown, and now they're coming crashing back down. And I think even some luxury watches like Rolexes, they're coming back down in price as well, even though I still think it's a good thing to have long term. But so what else are you seeing? Because you seem to
I'm seeing just like I was saying earlier, this is kind of like where I'm positioned here. These are the people that actually bring food to the table to Americans. And a lot of people don't realize that, how much work it takes from to grow a chicken and to process a chicken and to bring it to the table. You know, people go to Chick-fil-A and they just think it magically shows up at the table. These are the people that are in the middle of things, like myself right now. And I can tell you, like, there is a lot of concern with feed prices, right? What people are doing. They're going up in price. Like right now, I was rushing back for the meeting, for our meeting at noon. I was at the Tractor Supply. Just give you an example. So this is not food, right? It was the fence. It's the plastic stick that I remember paying about $75 for a box of 50 that you run a wire. It's like electric wire. So just the plastic stick that you stick in the ground with a sharp bottom. And it was $119, right? From 70 something. So this is not a 4 or 5% rise. I'm noticing 50% rise in the goods, parts, and services, and it's not slowing down. It's actually getting worse every time. And these are the things, like I said, people right now are kind of saying, well, I don't need those sticks. I don't need diapers because I got no kids or no elders to take care of. Or they will just make, comments like that. Or I don't need ice cream, so I don't care what ice cream costs now. People are starting to ignore the obvious. And they're going to learn soon that you can only hide for so long from this, what's going on. You don't have to eat ice cream, but you're going to have to eat, maybe you eat eggs. Maybe you eat something else. Eggs went crazy. It was almost 50 cents per egg not long ago. And they came down, that's true, But I don't think this is something that we're going to see continuing. I think we're going to see a surge in prices again, as we might have possibly another lockdown due to alien invasion, Putin with whatever he's doing. There is something is brewing again, and you can see that the supply shock can shock a lot of people coming up soon, not just the currency printing. Unfortunately, I still believe what Holter was saying, and the way you talk about on your channel as well, that we're going to see inflation of the things we need continue going higher.
What about the probability of hyperinflation? Do you see that happening? Or do you think the Fed will be able to control things?
Well, this kind of answer can always rub a lot of people wrong and say, well, this is the world reserve currency we're talking about. It's never happened before. It is. I believe that right now the probabilities of hyperinflation is way higher than ever, and there is so many metrics and so many examples that we can just point out what's going on, because right now we haven't seen officially any major crisis besides the banking sector that we've noticed what was going on due to the lag effects from the rate hikes. And I believe if the stock market plunges again, I don't see Federal Reserve not jumping in again and throw more helicopter money and causing, we can call it, Mario, honestly, if we're looking at inflation in double digits that continue for a couple of years, it's going to destroy whatever is left of the middle class. We don't need to see hyperinflation at all. If that happens, obviously everyone will be wiped out. I've seen it happen, but I didn't live in the world that was not under the world reserved currency status. It was in ex-Yugoslavia. I mean, it was not United States or UK back in the day when UK was, that's the one, when UK was on top of the world, and that changed. So I just see, like I said, double-digit inflation to continue, even though they're saying it's in a single digits. And I think that if people are not protected with real things, I think it's going to, I don't think, I mean, these are facts. It's going to devalue purchasing power, the dollar, even more. So double-digit inflation is actually going to destroy whatever is left out of the middle class. We do not need hyperinflation to be a problem at all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Even if you have, I think we already have double-digit inflation. It's just the way they measure it is not really accurate. And one other thing I wanted to talk to you about and ask you is, because we've seen what's happened to agriculture in countries like Sri Lanka and the Netherlands. We're seeing that I saw a video the other day about, it's called the shadow government. I think it's about the ESG agenda, that they want to basically regulate small farmers out of business. Do you worry about that?
I do. If there is one thing that makes me sometimes not sleep well at night, is because I can't control what those in charge are going to do. So that I can only control what I can control, and I can only prepare the best I can to protect myself, to protect my family, and hopefully help the other people around. Even though around here everybody's pretty much self-sufficient. Those are the people I wanted to surround myself with. I have what I call the energy guy. I have a guy that works on engines, that knows how to convert certain engines into using old oil that was used, that would cost basically $1 for these big rigs to work on. I would be the meat guy. Then you have the person that's a handyman that knows how to do plumbing. Like, these are the things that a lot of people are not thinking about, but they better. They better, because we haven't seen crises yet. This is still being paved by the Fed Reserve with all the little games that they play and making it look like, because we know what it is. It's about elections. We are already in that cycle right now. They want everything to be normal. And this is where people get caught with their pants down when everything seems like it's back normal, like the stock market's going back up, right? Everything's good. Banking crisis is not in the headlines any longer, right? So just relax, Mario, keep doing your job. Marco, go back out there and feed them cows. Everything is good. Nothing's going to happen. You don't have to worry about anything. And then soon enough, we got something else that popped up, and we are down to supply chain issues. And we've learned through the recent health event, I try not to even say the name so they don't censor your channel, what certain countries can do or cannot do. Like United States proved that it's run by complete incompetent morons and corrupt people, because we could not even get, like, I lived at the time in Florida. We ran out of orange juice in Florida. the orange country state, I mean, you can call it country because Florida is huge, and they're the only ones that basically export orange juice. And we had, I mean, it were only once, but it was, you know, there was no OJ. Then obviously everybody's heard about the toilet paper situation and everything that happened there. Or you can only take one butter stick, you can't take two. That was happening in Florida. So I don't even know other states what was going on at the time. And I wasn't as active on social media as much as I am right now, because I was kind of working on getting out and preparing, knowing that they were going to use this to make it into never endemic. Because why let any crisis go to waste, right? The famous words from Chicago politician. That's right. That's yes.
I think he was Obama chief of staff, wasn't he?
Yep. I lived in Chicago for about 10 years, so I love the city, but they definitely destroyed it out there. The suburbs it's so dangerous. The city itself, if anybody wanted to know a little bit, if they're, let's say, out in UK or other parts of the world listening to this video, most cities, I travel a lot because of the meat deliveries and all that. So I see it with my own eyes. I don't need anyone to tell me what's going on in the cities. I don't have to guess or say, I'm going to listen to this person or that person. It's just everything I say comes from my own experience. Just like when I talk about civil unrest, hyperinflation, I lived it. I've seen the writing on the wall, same phases, everything that's going on globally. So I don't just guess. When it comes to macro and try to time the markets and all that, that's a whole different story. That is more of a guess and a gamble. But the macro picture and what's going on is the same. So the cities in United States are in ruins. The pictures you see online is true. And there are pockets. They keep it very clean. Like I stayed on Michigan Avenue just recently. I don't live, of course, in Chicago any longer. But it was very safe. Like I was walking out with my baby in the stroller and looking around at the stores. It seemed like everything was clean. They take care of that. Why? Because those people got big, deep pockets. They live in high rises that are $5 million, penthouses. They want those people protected because they are, in a way, they're not the establishment, but they are the ones that are paying the bills. So those people are protected. As soon as you just leave, like if you walk 2 blocks either direction, you start seeing more poverty, more crime, people begging you for money and all that stuff. So that's why I am glad that I was able to get out. And I hope a lot of people now are trying to make some plans, if they can, to get out of the city. And immediately somebody may say, well, easy for you to say, or I can't do it because my family's there. No, it is not easy, but it is doable. And even if you have to take a little bit off the table somewhere else in order to put it on, let's say, if you work from home and your mortgage now is way less, right? But you don't have to be working in the city. Yes, you may make a lot less, but your mortgage is 50-60% less that you used to pay, and you have more freedom and it's more secure. So there is a lot of give and take. People need to kind of wait it out and make the decisions based on that.
Yeah, the quality of life as well, you have to consider it. And it's interesting, you talked about Chicago there, that you went there recently and you felt very safe and it was all clean and everything.
Michigan Avenue, yeah, magnificent mile.
Yeah, and you mentioned that if you went a few blocks either way, things got really bad. So it reminded me of Rio, where I used to live in Brazil in the 80s. And even now, you have some really nice areas with high rises by the beach, and people are driving fancy cars, and then you drive up the hill, because usually the favelas or the shanty towns are up in the on the hill. Yeah, it's becoming more like a third world country, I guess, the US. Because they're like hollowing hollowing out the middle class, and the same thing is happening here in the UK as well, I would say.
Yeah, I've talked to Adrian Poole. He's on Twitter. I had a short video, maybe 30 minutes with him, because again, I love to talk to people that are in the middle of things. He owns some he owns a bar, I believe, out in London, and I wanted to see what the prices are out there. Talking to him, and I think a lot of people like that, to hear it from regular people, not some blown up names because they have millions of followers somewhere and they're leading people to slaughter because of now it's the time. This is it. Go all in on Bitcoin or gold stocks and do all that. I'm more of a let me just talk to some normal people, normal meaning regular. I guess I shouldn't use word normal, more regular folks like myself, and then put my 2 cents together here and just kind of like evaluate where to go from now and what we're doing. And again, I am seeing the same steps that I've seen back in ex-Yugoslavia in the 90s, how things got worse with the devaluation of currency and more social unrest. And the more people go deeper in their pockets, this is important for your listeners to understand, the more they realize that the wages are not keeping up, that those in power are robbing them from purchasing power, from freedoms as well, from their freedom, they're going to start getting more anxious and more angry. And this is not, I'm not out here telling people, go out there and cause problems. This is just history repeating, and we're seeing it's happening globally. Because during the recent health event, I don't know one country that, I mean, maybe you know, in Europe somewhere, who dealt with all this nonsense differently. Mostly everything was kind of in sync. We had in US, South Dakota governor, I believe, I don't know her name, I forgot, I think Naomi or something like that, first name. She said, right? Yeah. She said, listen, we're going to just continue living as normal. You guys use your own common sense. If you go to any, not Wyoming is a small state, obviously, but try to stay away from big gatherings, but it's on you. We're not going to shut anything down. We're going to continue this. This was her statement from 2020. I believe Montana, North Dakota, possibly. That was it. Every other state, including Texas, for those out there that keep pounding on the chest about Abbott and all that, it was locked down. And I traveled in 2020 through Texas, not just through one city. They had children's playgrounds taped off and the rest areas where you stop for your kids to stretch their legs because of safety. And this was not 1 month in, 2 weeks in, this was months into the so-called pandemic. So I've seen with my own eyes what happened in Florida, and this is where I start to get worried because, like I was telling you, the only thing that keeps me sometimes up at night is because I can't control what the suits do, but I can control what I do. And I am preparing for the worst, and if it doesn't happen, so what? I'm stuck with some shiny yellow rock and good steaks, some ribeyes, sirloins, some land, some freedom. Do I mind? Do I want things to go bad? No. I know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. We just don't know if it's imminent. That's the unfortunate part, the way I see it, based on experience and the phases I've seen develop before. So I would hope that your listeners don't fall asleep on their hands, not being depressed and live in fear. It's just take care of what you can and don't worry about if Putin decides, or Biden, or anybody out there, Xi, whatever his name is, if they're going to start pressing those nuke buttons, what are me and you going to do? Does it matter if we have gold at that time or this Black Angus behind me? No, if that happens. But we can only control what we can control. So yeah, don't be depressed and think the world is ending, but just prepare and enjoy life. And if it doesn't happen, so what? Make sure you're stuck with some good stuff, not some scribbles on the screen, some NFTs that says it's worth $5 million and the next day it's 25 cents. So that would be my not investing advice, just from personal experience.
So to wrap up, Marko, could you tell the viewers about your business and what you would accept as payment? Maybe not just the shiny yellow stuff, but maybe silver as well. And do you just do cow or beef? Do you sell eggs and stuff? Would you do that too?
Yes, we do, but it's mostly for like locals. We put them up. Sometimes people take them, they don't leave anything. If I have a lot of extra eggs, I just leave it out in the little bin up front. But no, we have like vanilla extract for cakes and stuff that comes from Madagascar. It's got the beans inside. If your significant other is making some desserts and something, this is not like the vanilla extract from the store. So we have that. We don't sell chickens. We process our own chickens just for ourselves and family and friends, turkeys as well. But we're mostly into beef business, and we do farm to table. That's basically it. People put orders in of 50, 100, 200, 400 pound orders. And if they're close by, I work out a deal with them to meet them halfway, or they come to pick it up, because shipping is the biggest issue if somebody is far, because these packaging companies and shipping companies are really going after smaller businesses. So people are willing, like the guy, his name is Everett. So hello, Everett. I know he's going to watch your channel, the one that we actually made the deal with the gold coin. I forgot his name and remembered it now. And one of his grandkids decided to meet me halfway in Russellville. Not that that matters, but it was exactly halfway point for us to just meet up and make a transaction. But most of our sales are done typically online with just a normal way with a credit card, I guess, normal way, modern way. But sometimes we do accept, like I said, gold, of course. Silver, when I say gold, I always think silver in a way the same way. A lot of people say, oh, you're just a gold bug, you hate silver. No, when I mention the word gold, I, in so many ways, put silver in the same way. I just don't know if somebody would be willing to bring all that silver, because obviously you need a lot more of it, versus how simple it is. One little Krugerrand that you can put in that little tight jean pocket, and you leave home with a trunk full of steaks. It's just, I think, the coolest thing ever. Yeah. So most of our sales come through our website. I'll say not all of them. And this is just occasional, kind of a cool thing that happened. People listening to you and said, hey, I guess Everett wanted to see if Marko is actually going to take the gold coin. I think Dennis from Alabama too, he was thinking maybe I won't, and then he saw gold going up and he's like, I don't know if I really want to give a gold coin. Maybe we'll just do a regular transaction for this one, and he's waiting it out. So people are thinking about it, and they're ready, but I would suggest not to take up any of your time anymore. If you are someone who is just starting in precious metals and you don't have many coins, you just have a couple of or a few, it is probably not smart, I don't think, at the times that we are entering right now, to be already using that for food. Unless you're someone, like I said, this older gentleman, Everett from Oklahoma, I bet he's got plenty, and he decided, hey, I needed some beef. I'm good with this one gold coin to depart my house and go to Arkansas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not during a hyperinflation or high inflation, you should try to get rid of the bad money first, or Greshams Law.
Yes, what can go wrong will go wrong. Greshams Law, right? We're kind of seeing a lot of that as of lately. But again, it's not, I would hate people to think this is some kind of a fear mongering coming out from me. No, I'm just, a lot of stuff I said. The only thing, honestly, I feel like I was wrong about is the timing. I didn't think the Fed Reserve can raise this many times before everything implodes. That was the only thing, and I admit that on my channel. I didn't see them being able to raise so consecutive without the market plunging and everything else. Everything else I've seen was just playing out like step by step. So I guess I'm going to leave you off with that.
Yeah, I mean, the Fed has raised rates very quickly and sharply compared to the last 15, 20 years, especially. But it did cause it, things did break, and that was what we had in March with the banking collapse. And they've had to inject more liquidity to keep the banks from going under. So I don't think it's over by any stretch of the imagination. They've paused right now, but we'll have to see. So, Marko, I heard you say that you've got a channel as well. So maybe you could tell the viewers where they can find you as well, your channel and your other coordinates.
I am on the Yes, I just do sometimes daily, but I would say weekly videos on the New American Realist. It is channel in the making, is nothing professional like yours and all that, but it's gaining some traction right now. It's got over 500 followers right now, and I did have Adrian Poole just from UK on it. I did have Brent Johnson on it. I interviewed yourself once that got over 1,400 views, I think, for that channel. I think that's pretty good. So it's growing. It's called the New American Realist. And I do post a lot of real stuff straight from the farm. I post some videos from the auction and stuff like that. So it's not your typical channel. It's got a lot more homesteading on it and stuff like that. So again, thank you for all that. And
Oh, you're welcome. There you go, guys.
I hope that I can see you again soon.
Yeah, maybe you.
Yep, you found it?
Yeah, here we are. And yeah, go check out Marko's channel and subscribe to it. And yeah, I've subscribed, I think, but a lot of times on YouTube, unfortunately, they don't notify you of a lot of videos from channels that you subscribe, which is annoying.
Yeah, Yeah, I know for sure. I go on yours because I know you post daily. So for me, it's more like when I'm done with my day that starts at 5 in the morning. When I'm done finally, when I lay down, I go on Maneko and I listen because I know you'll probably post. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't even pop up. I have that bell notification for you, but it doesn't pop up either. But I just know that you probably posted a video, so I just go on it.
Thank you very much thanks for your support. Yeah, thanks for your support, Marko. I wish you a great rest of the day and a good week. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. The Maneko 64 will be in Vegas. Don't worry, I'll make a video and pictures. I'll send it to you, hopefully from the final table.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And so you're playing for a lot of money, or?
I lived off of playing poker in Las Vegas for a couple of years. I played professionally, and people always ask, what does that mean? If you're able to pay your bills without having any other source of income, just playing poker, and if it can be for more than just 1 month, for a few months, I did it for 2 years. So I consider myself professional poker player. Not anymore because I don't pay my bills anymore playing poker.
Yeah. Now it's just a hobby.
It's a hard way to make an easy living. Yes. Yes.
Okay, great, Marko. Thank you very much again, and take care.
You too, Mario. I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.